So, I wanted to talk about the recent happenings over the last 24 hours in regards to the Russian mutiny done by the Wagner soldiers. And the reason why I want to talk about it is because it just goes to show that everybody has a price no matter what. Now, for those of you guys who don't know, the Wagner Group is in essence like a shadow company. You know what I mean? Like when you really think about it, you can say that it is um, part of. I guess you can say it's part of the 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 Russian Federation, but then again, it's not part of the Russian Federation. And the reason that is because of the simple matter is that there is no Wagner ranks in the Russian army. You know what I mean? You have different battalions in the Russian army, and of course you have the Spetsnaz, which is the Russian special forces, but you don't have a battalion called Wagner. And I think, in a way, this is kind of like a grave mistake because of the simple fact, because of this, um, it led to the mutiny. And unfortunately, the mutiny occurred through the United States. And I'm gonna tell you why it occurred through the United States. Just give me a minute, or I'm gonna let you hear why it occurred through the United States. Hold on, just give me a minute.
The Pentagon found that it had overestimated the amount of funding for ammunition, missiles, and other equipment it sent to Ukraine by $6.2 billion due to an accounting error. Let's listen.
Following up from some announcements earlier this year, during the department's regular oversight of our execution of Presidential Drawdown Authority for Ukraine, we discovered inconsistencies in equipment valuation for Ukraine. In a significant number of cases, services used replacement costs rather than net book value, thereby overestimating the value of the equipment drawn down from U.S. stocks and provided to Ukraine. Once we discovered this misvaluation, the comptroller reissued guidance on March 31st, clarifying how to value equipment in line with the Financial Management Regulation and DoD policy to ensure we use the most accurate of accounting methods. We have confirmed that for FY23, the final calculation is $3.6 billion, and for FY22, it is $2.6 billion, for a combined total of $6.2 billion. These valuation errors in no way limit or restricted the size of any of our PDAs or impacted the provision of support to Ukraine. And while the DoD retains the authority to utilize the recaptured PDA, this has no bearing on appropriated USAI or Ukraine PDA replenishment funding approved by Congress. Journalist Aaron Mate spoke.
So it wasn't a mistake. That money went to the, how should I say, the belligerents of this conflict. And the America probably decided, hey, well, if we can't get them, through the battlefield, let's just sow dissension inside, okay? And that's exactly what happened. You know, unfortunately, it happened, and now because it happened, it could, I'm hoping, not lead to a domino effect, but it may very well do that, because the thing is, we have Wagner in Africa, you know what I mean? And the thing is, if Wagner is doing this right here, there's no telling what can possibly be done in Africa. And then it will make us the laughing stock. You know what I mean? If like this thing boils over into Africa, it will make us the laughing stock. You know, France will laugh at us, the UN will laugh at us, because we, you know, recently we kicked out the UN. And the reason why we kicked out the UN is because they were doing very bad anyway. They weren't restoring peace or anything like that. So this is why we kicked out the UN. Now, the conflict got de-escalated by a very unlikely man, and the good news is he resolved the conflict in a smooth way, and that is the Belarus president Alexander Lukashenko. Now, the thing is about that is, although he did resolve the conflict, shout outs to him, I'm afraid this may be bad and may lead to distrust in the ranks in fighting in Ukraine. So I hate to say it, but the one area that wasn't covered, okay, the one area that was not covered was the internal dissension. Externally, Russia, I had no issues with them for the simple fact that, I don't even think that Russia has all of its weapon systems in Ukraine. I don't even think it's like at its full potential in terms of weaponry and things like that. Now, in terms of manpower, I think it is a little stretched right now. Okay. I believe so. I believe it's a little stretched. I'm not quite sure, but yeah. But in terms of weaponry, I'm not worried about Russia. I'm not worried. I'm not worried about them in regards to that. Now, this thing is kind of like, again, all bad. It's kind of all bad because of the simple fact that, America has found a way to penetrate into the very ranks, and this is not good. Now, my opinion is, how do you fix this problem? In my personal opinion, the way you fix this problem is, I honestly, if I were the head of state, Putin, how I would fix this problem is that I would relieve Wagner of their services, and I would, if anything, exile them. And then, I hate to say it, but I mean, I'm pretty sure he wouldn't mind this, but showing that Lukashenko has this loyalty, I would ask him for troops if I am lacking manpower. Okay? That's what I would do. So the lesson I want to get across here, and this is going to be a short video, is you must like weed people out in the beginning, even if it's like by their little actions. You must weed them out. For example, okay, what Ufraw Johnson just said. Ufraw Johnson, a lot of black people were rocking with him and stuff like that. He was talking these geopolitical talks, this like Pan-Africanism, but then he messes around and he throws all black dudes under the bus, and he blames black dudes for the dissension of the black community, or lack thereof. And it's like, okay, you were rocking with black dudes, but now you're pandering to the very people who are causing the damage, right? So this is what I'm saying, that this is the lesson to be taken from this episode today. And also, your allies may come from the most unlikeliest places, okay? That's another thing too that we need to take from here. Who would have ever thought that Belarus, although Putin and Lukashenko, they are very, very close, but who would ever thought that he would be able to mediate? Okay? Nobody probably would have thought that he was able to do that, but he managed to do so. So with that being said, the message is pretty clear that we just have to move accordingly, man. We have to move accordingly. We have to really move carefully, move correctly. Okay? That's what needs to be said. And I think another mistake that Russia made is it was spreading itself too thin. That's the thing. It was spreading itself too thin because it's focused on Ukraine, but at the same time, it has to focus on its own home security, which I think was kind of like lacking. I think if that wasn't lacking, this wouldn't have happened. You know what I mean? But anyhow, it's hopefully things get squared away. You know what I mean? Hopefully it'll work out for the better, and let's take some lessons from this, okay? Take lessons from this episode that just happened today, or that was just going on. In the past few days. Now, one more thing I want to say before I close this video is that sometimes the enemy will never succeed defeat, okay? This is what I'm saying. Sometimes the enemy will never succeed defeat. And what I mean by that is, like, when you look at the gender war, sometimes that the fact that you have an advantage, that you have the upper hand, they cannot stand it, and so that they will find ways in order to penetrate or mess up the ranks in what you have going on. And I hate to say it could go as far as to travel to the places that you are traveling to, okay? So this is why I vow not to really say where I am going, because the thing is, I don't want to leave a paper trail behind. I don't want to leave a trail behind for these hyenas to follow me, and also for these hyena servants, meaning simps, to also follow me. So this is what I'm saying, and I hope you guys can find parallels between this Russian coup and what certain characters are doing in this space, in the Passport Bro space, and just the space to get out of here, get out of this place. But with that being said, Fu is signing out. Njadam.